Welcome back, everybody, to the Sharpshooter Sports Talk. I'm your humble and gracious host, Mr. Brinsky Sharp, on the ones, twos, threes, fours, and the fives and six. Appreciate you, everybody, joining the show tonight. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button before you do anything else. Oh, man, we got a big time show tonight. Got our good friend and buddy in the house, but we're going to introduce him in a minute, of course. You got to shout out my former running back and graduate of Alabama A&M, my good friend and brother, the most underrated person on these YouTube streets. Y'all know he going to give you the real and know how to talk with the best of them, whether you like it or not. Y'all give a round of applause for our good friend, Coach Sean.
Much love to everybody in the chat as usual. I appreciate all of you. Absolutely a pleasure to be back with my brother B Sharp and our brother Clint, the absolute Don, as we call him. Happy to have him on the show.
Oh, yeah, man. And of course, man, I told him I have a nice introduction for him. So this is how it goes. It says Clint Lamb is a respected college football analyst known for his sharp insight on no-nonsense takes on the SEC, especially on Alabama football. Whether he breaks down the Crimson Tide's latest transfer portal moves, evaluating roster construction, or reacting to the college football playoffs, Clint brings informed analysis rooted in experience, credibility, his ability to blend film study and recruiting knowledge and real-time news makes him a trusted voice for fans who want more than headlines. Clint doesn't just talk college football. He explains why it matters. And what comes next, y'all will hear out his mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome our brother and friend, Clint Lamb.
Dude, that's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that I've never had somebody do that for me now. Now everybody else has got to step their game up. I'm not going on any more podcasts unless I can get that kind of introduction. That was awesome. It's good to join you guys, man. It's been a crazy 4 or 5 days now. Nonstop, it feels like. What are you guys up to?
Oh, man, just enjoying this, man. Of course, catching up on all you guys, dropping all these guys signing, who's leaving, man. Yeah, I know y'all most busiest ones of them all.
It has been busy. Yeah, I mean, and I feel like I was just telling you guys off air. I mean, Arco and Newgwam just entered the transfer portal a couple of hours ago. Wilkin Formby's committed to Texas A&M. Like, I leave to go do something for an hour and a half, and it's 13 things have happened. But that's the era that we're in right now. This is going to be it's going to be like this for a couple of weeks. It'll cool down a little bit, but I know fans are kind of freaking out a little bit about all the roster turnover.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, who popped in just in time, as always. Y'all know the OG of all OGs. This man knows his football, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you doubt yourself one bit. Y'all already know Jackson State's own, retired from all things, work and football, coaching. Y'all show your love to our brother, Coach Al.
Coach Al.
Gentlemen. Hey, look, I appreciate the deference in the introduction. I'm like, Clint, man, that's kind of hard to live up to that, man.
Man, you gotta make people feel welcome, man.
Oh, I do feel welcome.
when you walk in somebody's house and it be like, well, Clint been here enough, man. You be like, hey, man, hey, baby. Give him his own steak out the freezer. Give him his own steak.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Well, I'm Southern bred and from Tuscaloosa, born and bred, so I get it. I get the hospitality.
Man, not to hold you up, Clint, man. Can't wait to dive right on into this, man. A lot of transfer portal stuff going on, man. I don't even know who to start with. Man, Coach Sean, you know anybody you want to talk about or anything?
Yeah. Of course, man. First of all, big shout out to Coach Al too, man. The OG in here, man. Love having my offensive guys together. You know what I mean? Clint, with the recent transfer guys, with the guys who've recently hopped into the portal, and when you look at our roster from the portal guys leaving to what we have on the roster at present. Being that I think this stuff is over on the 16th, maybe. I think
15th or 16th.
15th or 16th.
Yeah.
Do you see us going, potentially after any more interior guys, not necessarily edge guys, but interior guys?
As far as the defensive line, I do. I think you have to. Now, granted, I mean, adding Tompkins is a great start. I think he's a good player. But when you start looking at, I think they're pretty well set as far as like the one tech.
Yeah.
But between London Simmons and you got, Jeremiah Beeman's going to be coming back. You got Isaiah Faga, Steve Mbumwa. Like these guys are kind of those one tech styles of player. When you start talking about the three techs, Edric Hill and Tompkins, so you're a little bit light there. You need to, and granted, some of these young guys, I mean, Kamarian Johnson, that's going to be a guy who's going to end up probably factoring in on the interior if he continues to grow. Guys like Nolan Wilson probably is going to start as a bandit, but has the ability to continue to grow into his frame, maybe kick inside. So I do think they got maybe some of those true freshmen who could contribute as well, but you need numbers. And I think one of the big misconceptions right now with the transfer portal is everybody, because so many are going out, that's the easy stage of the process, entering your name into the transfer portal. But then it's lining up visits, it's going in, it's negotiating NIL deals. There's a lot that goes into it. So everything slows down after everybody enters. Like Tennessee fans are freaking out last time I checked because they had like 20 or 25 guys who have entered the portal. They have 2 current commitments out of the portal. Something similar for Alabama, not to that extent, obviously, but a lot going out, not as much coming in. But understand that it's going to be a process where you're kind of trying to prioritize the guys that you really feel like you need, but there's still going to be a ton of talent because so many, I mean, everybody's got this to a certain extent. So even as you get much later into this process, it's different because it's one window. Before, guys, maybe there would be some reluctancy. Man, I don't know what my role is going to look like in 2026, but you know what? I'll give it the spring and try to figure out exactly where I stand on the depth chart and then might enter after that. Now, a lot of those guys are pulling the trigger because they feel like that they won't have that opportunity if you don't do it now. So it's creating this mass influx as far as portal players. And so there's going to be plenty of time to kind of, get your roster filled out. I have no doubt about that. There's no reason to panic at this point.
Facts.
Man.
Facts. I love it.
And of course, man, sorry to cut you off, Coach Sean. You already know our guy. He late to the party, but he's still here. Our good friend and brother, king of all rants and Buffalo fans. I know he's hoping for a Super Bowl this year. Y'all show your love for our good friend and brother, Jance. What's going on, man?
Jay, what's up, brother?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much, man. Just blessed to be here on another day, man. Just blessed to be here on another day.
Yeah, I know you have a lot of questions about this transfer portal, man, and I know you got a lot of questions for Clint. You can fire off.
Oh man, well of course I'm late to the parties, but obviously the offensive line for me is one of the biggest question marks. I like the fact that we're going after Jacarius Peak because I think you need a tackle that has. I mean, he has a kick slide, man. Like the dude has an elite kick slide, elite lateral movement, which is offensive line and blocking scheme. It's more of a hybrid scheme. It requires that. But I think my question is that, kind of outside of guys like Jacarius Peak, do you feel like for the most part we're going after those type of caliber players instead of getting like the mammoth type of guys that are more kind of suited to his like more of a gap power scheme?
Yeah, I would definitely think right now like the priority is nastiness, play with an edge, and then also have the athleticism. Now you don't want to sacrifice a ton as far as size, not in the SEC. You don't want to have a 285-pound, 290-pound offensive line. You still want to be probably in that 310, 315 range. But, I mean, I think this year they were closing in on 330 pounds across the board on an average, and I think that was a little bit too heavy. It caused some issues as far as what you can call and what you can do. And I'm looking at guys, even guys like Jimothy Lewis, 6'6", 320 pounds, raw, still needs some development. I don't think he got the best development with the offensive line coaches that he was with at Mississippi State. But he kind of plays when he's playing confidently. He does play with that nastiness a little bit, but athleticism. I mean, he's an athlete. And you look at Strayhorn. I think that the guy plays with that nastiness, and he's a good athlete. I mean, he played right tackle for his high school team. despite the fact that guys like Michael Carroll were on the roster as well. I think Michael actually played guard and he played right tackle, and he did some good things. I mean, good movement, and I think those guys will eventually work well together. But across the board, the offensive line, I love the fact they're going after Peak. I've said I feel like if you can add one surefire, bona fide starter that you can kind of build around and rely on, everything else can start to form, because I think Michael Carroll is already getting close to being one of those calibers of player. You already got him on the roster. You re-signed him, re-upped his contract. That was great to see. But the more that you can start to add some guys or build some pieces around, that caliber of player, it's a great place to start. If you don't get a peak caliber player, I don't think it's detrimental necessarily, but you have to get better development from your coaching staff than you got in 2025. I mean, really 2025 and 2024 just hadn't been there to the extent that it needs to. So I like the fact that they're swinging for the fences on some of these guys. And hopefully, I mean, I'm getting more and more optimistic about Peak. I started off excited about it. Then I started to try to be a little bit more realistic. Are they actually going to get into the mix? And it seems like they're going to try. And first of all, that's all you can really ask. If he chooses to go elsewhere, there's nothing you can do. And there's not a whole lot of peaks in the transfer portal. I mean, there's just that caliber of player can completely change the dynamic of your offensive line. So hopefully they're able to close. And if they are, I think that's a wonderful place to kind of build your offensive line around, because that's obviously a really critical position. And he's a high NFL talent for sure.
Yeah, I'm about to say, man, you guys can go ahead whenever. But with Pete, man, I feel like, man, one of those guys, man, you just leave him on the island. He'll take care of his side. Yeah. Especially when I read up on, he didn't even give up a set. I think the last 10 games or something elite like that.
Footwork, wow. He's got elite footwork. He's got the quickness. But again, that I value. That's my Bills fan coming out of me. So I'm watching Deion Dawkins. I'm watching Spencer Brown. Their kick step. You want guys that can excel and get that width and depth, especially when you're going against edge rushers, because that was a primary weakness for us. Was you're going against guys that are 7 and 9 and 9s, and they're just coming off the edge, bending, and we just can't do it because we're too slow, too big off of there as well. So getting guys that actually can handle that speed is going to be crucial. I mean, quite honestly, when you look at Washington from when he was there with Scott Huff, that's all they had. They had guys that were light, 300 pounds, but guess what? They were long-limbed, athletic specimens.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing I'll say about that too is need to have the ability to have the athleticism to maintain base, because one of Caden Proctor's problems, the reason he was so susceptible to inside counter moves was he was trying to compensate for the fact that he wasn't as naturally gifted, being 365 pounds. So I'm watching a guy like Peak and great job of that. I just think he's a fantastic left tackle prospect. Wherever he ends up, I mean, he's going to excel, in my opinion, but I certainly hope that's in Tuscaloosa.
Go ahead, Coach.
No, I was saying that Clint is 1,000% right. We've talked about it. Caden would always try to get so much depth on his kick slide, trying to get that depth and end up getting beat to the inside, all off balance. And that he's 100% right on that. That's facts.
Yeah, I feel like, man, everybody that has been coming there for the most part, man, they've been closing on. They haven't even really let them leave town without a commitment. So hopefully that trend keeps going that way.
Yeah.
One of the questions, especially with it becoming official today, like Derek Nix, man, I feel like that's the all-season hire of the whole all-season so far. How big of an impact you think he's going to have on the Alabama Crimson Tide when it comes to spring and then eventually fall?
Proven track record. I mean, that's the number one thing. And when you lose someone like Jamarcus Shepard, who was so comfortable with Kalen DeBoer and the staff, and he kind of had his place and his role as far as the development and helping what Washington was able to do under that coaching staff. A year ago, if you'd have told me they were losing Jamarcus Shepard after the 2025 season, I would have been extremely worried. I wouldn't have known, okay, where do you turn? And get a guy like Derek Nix, who's already got some familiarity with the coaching staff. He brings that element, but also the fact that he could end up helping you as far as Cam Coleman. I think that could potentially be big. I don't know what will end up happening with Cam, but it certainly is not going to hurt. And I think just having him in the building is going to make sure that you get a crack at him visiting and hearing the pitch out of respect for Derek Nix. So I think that's absolutely huge. just across the board. This wide receiver room, it's talented. We all know it's talented. The drops were a major concern. 32 drops this year, only 19 last year. I mean, when you have that kind of increase, it's not quite double, but I mean, you're getting up there. And so you got to get some of that stuff taken care of. I think maybe Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard moving on to the NFL, allowing Ryan maybe to kick back outside. Maybe that will make him more confident and comfortable. I don't think he was exactly comfortable, playing in the slot, having to go across the middle of the field, the physicality of it. So maybe, allowing him to play a much larger percentage of his snaps on the outside should really help him. Maybe that will fix not all of the drop issues, but at least alleviate those problems at least a little bit. But I'm really excited about Derek Nix. I think from a development standpoint, from a recruiting standpoint, and just how he fits, because it's not always just about how good you are at your job. It's also, this coaching staff operates a certain way, and you've got to have the right pieces in there that can fit and operate the same way to kind of make sure everything's working in unison. So I'm excited to see how it works out for sure.
Oh yeah, man. Because I know a lot of people was asking about the whole Cam Coleman part, and they was just like, I see in the chat they really intrigued. I know I asked you that same question offline, but can you tell the people what you told me offline? Like, what are your chances on Cam Coleman landing in T-Town?
I think just the fact that you've got the opportunity, I think is great. I wouldn't have thought that, to a certain extent, if you can add a caliber of player like Cam Coleman, I mean, you got to do it. I mean, he kind of elevates things to a completely different level. I don't care what else you have in that room. With all that being said, I really like the talent in that room. And considering how much we all think that Cam Coleman's going to cost, I just wouldn't have ever thought that the coaching staff would have been in on that. But, I think part of that is there's some intrigue from his side. It's kind of like Jordan Ross on the defensive side, where he enters the portal. He's like a former 5-star recruit, very intriguing, probably to a lot of programs would command a very large NIL package. And I'm sure that if he ends up in Tuscaloosa, they'll take care of him on that front. But there's also this element where, I think Alabama could maybe get a discount relative to others because he wants to get closer to home. He kind of was the one that was, kicking up the interest before he even entered the transfer portal. So for Cam Coleman, just getting that opportunity is huge. Not saying it's going to happen. In fact, I would say if you were to ask me today, is it going to happen? I still am of the belief that it probably won't, if I'm speaking candidly. But it's kind of like with Peak, where, I would have probably 24 hours ago, I would have told you the same thing about him. And now I'm starting to feel really good about it, just having the opportunity to get him on campus and kind of sell him on Alabama. That's all you can really ask for at this point. But if they do, just understand, I mean, it's a luxury because even if he chooses not to come, I think the wide receiver room is going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Coach Al, you have anything?
Yeah. A couple things, Clint. The new landscape with the whole restructuring deal. Okay. That's very intriguing to me because I hear the term tossed around re-sign. Okay. Is there something in the mechanics of NIL that if a guy puts his name in the portal, okay, that automatically say, hey, I want to renegotiate? Because guys been coming back, out of the portal, same place they left, put their name into the portal. Is there something technical about that? Is there something real about that how NIL is actually structured? That's the first question. Second question is a guy that I really love on this roster. Young guy is William Sanders. No relation to me, but that guy is a run blocker. Okay, he's a guard. Okay, to me, I thought he was our best run blocking guard this year. It's just that he was a young guy, and obviously there was some nuances that he didn't quite grasp fast enough with the complexity that our offense is very complex. Everything is check with me at the line a lot of times. If you don't get the checks, especially with the O-line, but could you speak to those two things for me?
Yeah, to the first question, I do think there's something as far as entering. Sometimes when you're talking about, or there's some maybe worry that you might enter the transfer portal, but you're worried about guys who have actually entered, or there's something about making the definitive statement of I am making myself available publicly that puts pressure on your own coaching staff if they want to retain you to get to the negotiating table. Because the longer you're out there, the more at risk you are of being lost. You're giving other coaches. I mean, there are already people that are doing the back channel stuff, but you're just opening up yourself to not public, but accepted negotiation with a lot more schools, and kind of just making that statement. There's a lot of guys that sometimes certain schools don't even know that you would be potentially available. So just making that statement, I think is and is that the player? I say that that's probably pretty rare that the player necessarily wants to do it. I would say that it's these handlers or these agents that are pretty much trying to operate. And granted, they're I guess they're acting in self-interest, but also in the interest of their client. So and they feel like that's a great negotiation tactic. I mean, you got to think in any business. I mean, on the NFL level, if a guy could just simply snap his fingers and be a free agent every offseason, you probably see a lot of people in free agency just to kind of force and even if they wanted to stick with their current, franchise. But as far as Will Sanders is concerned, love him. Absolutely love him. And he didn't do a whole lot from a pass protection standpoint in high school. I think that's been his biggest obstacle is just kind of getting used to that. It's never been an athletic problem, though. It's just from a technique standpoint. And this offense, with the way that it operates and the fact that they didn't have much of a run game, I don't think that did Will Sanders any favors, because it kind of, in a lot of ways, it's always going to act more so as a pass-first style of offense. But even this year, the fact that was really the only thing that you were successful doing consistently, a guy like, if you had any sort of shortcomings as far as pass protection, maybe you would be at a disadvantage relative to others. But I mean, as far as his ability to pull and get out in space, lock in on a moving target, get guys blocked and do it with some authority. Love the way that cat plays, man. I love it. And just that was a great evaluation. And in a lot of ways, I see a lot of that in Chris Booker, by the way. Granted, Chris Booker comes from a different style of offense. He's got a little bit more experience, but as far as that athleticism and fitting what Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb are going to want to do, those are two beautiful fits. And so I'm really excited. I know that he hadn't outright won a starting job, but I've kind of been approaching this entire offseason. It's Michael Carroll. It's kind of locked in, and it's Will Sanders. And then for me, it's the other three spots that are currently up for grabs. Maybe I end up being wrong on that, but that's just been my approach. I absolutely love him. I think a couple of years in the system, he's had some time. He'll continue to have to grow and get better as far as that pass protection, but he's clearly trending in the right direction.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, Clint, because I looked at his high school tape extensively. The guy he has great lateral mobility, great quickness, great initial quickness, and not to mention the thing I like about him as a guard, man. Once he locks on to you, okay, you're not moving. He got you. I mean, he's going to move. He's going to create space. And for a guard in that type of offense, you have to create movement. You have to create space when you move.
Yes.
And here's another thing, too. I was looking at some of the things that we were doing in the schemes. We just weren't getting to our spots together. We weren't working together in the interior. Brailsford was doing his thing. The other two guys were really inconsistent with getting to their spots, okay? Especially if you're zoning or you're duoing or you're something that causes you to combo off. You got to get in the right, you got to get your hands right. You got to get everything right to get the movement. And but Will Sanders, I think, to me, no relation to anything. I just love the young man for his potential as a player if he keeps developing and keep developing that functional strength. Because you look at his body type, he was different than anybody on the line. He was just a big guy, but he was kind of like the kid that we were trying to get at tackle that went to Tennessee. What's the kid name? He played right tackle at Tennessee this year.
David Sanders.
He's a lean, kind of strong. You could tell that he's an athletic kind of dude with just great strength, great ability, all of those things you want in an offensive lineman in DeBoer's run scheme.
Yeah, and I would think that a lot of the guys they've been recruiting and stuff too, even a guy like Timothy Lewis, I think he's got some issues, but like he's built the right way. Jacarius Peak, I mean, he's kind of a leaner build, but he's got, good size, and certainly, I wouldn't say he's like the most dominant run blocker, but I think he's pretty technically sound. And I think that he gives you way more than enough than you would ever need on that front. So, I mean, I think that just this idea of what Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb the Troy Faetanu, his left tackle at Washington, that was, 6'4", 317 pounds, was nasty. I mean, he was just an absolute, I'm sorry?
With a cutoff shirt.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he was just like the way that guy played. I love offensive linemen like that. The Chance Warmack. Let that belly hang out.
Yeah.
I wish I could be. I wish I could be as proud of my belly as some of them boys are. I'm not. But
Clint, he's telling you. I'm him. I'm that guy. I'm that guy. Yeah.
But man, I love.
But I'm him.
I love it. I love Will Sanders. I think he's a great talent, and hopefully they can get the development out of him that they need, because I think that he's going to be a heck of a player regardless. But if you can develop him properly, he can be an elite guard. His upside is incredible, and from everything I've heard, I think he's got fantastic work ethic. And so, I absolutely love Will Sanders. One of my favorites on the team right now, personally.
Great.
I know one guy that we was we still high on Justin Smith, who's still on the roster. I don't feel like he's going anywhere. And I think if you add a Jordan Ross on here, man, that is just a scary combination of those guys. Just if you're gonna add Ross and have Smith on the other side, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Hey,
why I keep saying Smith? Why? I'm thinking, shout out to Justin Smith, man. Man, shout out to Justin, man. Oh my God, I don't know. Thank you, man. Yeah, Justin Hill. Hill. And you have Ross on there, because I was like, if Yonze just so happened to come back, we just have depth now. We have guys that can it's almost like a new cheetah package, just attacking the quarterback. So what's your thoughts on Ross, man? Because I'm not gonna lie, when they posted Damian Wilson going into the play, like, we kind of need him down here too. But then I was like, he's gonna be pretty expensive.
Yeah.
But when Ross hit there, I was like, oh, we can really get him. So what's your thoughts on Ross?
Yeah, I definitely, he was one of those guys, and Damon Wilson, when he first entered, I know a lot of fans were like you and wanted him. Just to me, I thought it was kind of a luxury. Yonze Pierre is kind of your every down guy. You're not going to have two types, that style, that Wolf style of player on the field too often together. If you're going against 12 personnel, you're using those 3-4 looks. You'll see some of it, but otherwise, I think if you start putting multiple Wolves on the field at the same time, you get a little bit too light, and offenses are just going to run the football, And a lot of people have tried to make the comparison and say, well, you did it with Will Anderson and Dallas Turner. And I'm like, whoa, now, Will Anderson was a different bird. Exactly. That cat was 250 pounds, but he played like he was 290. You could put him as a 3-tech and he would wreak some havoc.
He still could, exactly.
It was wild. I still don't fully understand it from a body type and just, how strong he was. But I think that gave people, and there are certain instances when you can, but I think one of the biggest benefits of a guy like Jordan Ross would be, today when I was talking about him on my show, not only do I think he's the Quay Russaw replacement, and I think he's like this is no offense to Quay, but Quay and what he did well as far as being a really good edge setter, he's comfortable playing that Wolf position, playing that shallow off-ball linebacker, dropping into coverage, playing in space. He did all that very well. Getting after the quarterback, he was somewhat effective, but I don't think that was a strength of his. Yeah. A guy like Jordan Ross, that is what he does well. And so having, you can never have too many pass rushers, and everything that Quay was pretty much giving you as far as being comfortable playing in space, dropping, setting the edge, doing all those different things. I think Justin Hill can do all of that stuff as well. So as far as like paying Quay a premium, to me, if he would have been a dynamic pass rusher, he would have been worth it. But the fact that he kind of had some limitations on that front, not bad, but also not really his strength, I thought, okay, well, if you're getting a lot of those things from Justin Hill and you fully expect Justin to continue to develop and get better in a lot of those areas, I kind of understood Quay, taking a step away and pursuing other opportunities. But a guy like Jordan Ross, not only would he be a Quay replacement, meaning another guy that you would have in that rotation at that Wolf position, but I think he would also be the Keon Keeley replacement in those obvious passing situations. Because I thought the coaching staff, you really looked at it, in a lot of those 3rd and longs, where you're trying to get your best rushers out there, you got, a bandit playing an interior guy. You got Deontay Lawson, lining up as one of your 4 rushers. You've got Yanze Pierre. You would think another Wolf, who's probably going to be your best athlete and stuff, that would be that other rusher. But instead, they wanted to go with Keon Keeley, or, even in certain instances, at certain points of the season, a Cavante Henry. And to me, that just said, well, they probably felt like those 2 guys were better, more efficient pass rushers than a guy like Quay Russaw, or where Justin Hill was early in his career, being a true freshman. A guy like Jordan Ross would be the other guy out there, and he would be an absolute game wrecker and a problem. And I think that would do wonders as far as your ability to more consistently get off the field in those obvious passing situations, apply pressure on the quarterback, maybe force some turnovers. So I just think that right now, Jordan Ross has, he's a very naturally gifted guy. You don't want him doing the Quay Russaw, Justin Hill stuff at that Wolf position. If he comes in, you're going to figure out ways to make sure he's on the line of scrimmage. He's out there on the edge, and you're letting him get after the quarterback as often as possible. And if you can have that type of player, I really think he can make a massive, massive impact on Alabama's defense.
What do you think about this, Clint? Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Coach.
I'm sorry. You remember Chris Allen?
I do.
That's Quay Russaw to me.
That's fair. That's fair. That's very fair. And he was a great complimentary pass rusher. It was like a, I would say that the Ryan Anderson types. You had the Tim Williams, who was kind of the dynamic pass rusher, and then you had the Ryan Andersons. I like having that complimentary guy that if you're going to leave him on an island because of a lot of attention is going elsewhere, he's going to make you pay for it. I certainly think Quay had that ability. Jordan Ross is going to be the one that you're giving the attention to. You're not leaving him on islands. And the more in the Yanze, you're not doing that much either. So the more guys you got like that, the offense starts running out of blockers. They can't block everybody with the number of blockers that are required. That's where you start to become really dangerous as a pass rushing team.
And the way we can cover in the back end.
That's right. Great point. Across the board. Hope they can keep both the safeties.
I know, right?
But they're deep anyways. Now, I'll say that, Zay Mincy, I think, has got a lot of talent.
Yeah,
Ivan Taylor, I'm a huge Ivan Taylor fan. Jaira Edwards, probably going to play Husky. Maybe you end up getting Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. back. I mean, that's a TBD, but big fan of how he was trending and his talent. So, I mean, even if they lost both Hubbard and Sab, I don't think they would be, I think they'd be fine at safety. But just if you can get those 2 guys back. Now, I wonder what that would mean as far as decisions made. Maybe somebody would enter the transfer portal, but they've loaded up in the secondary. And I think they got a pretty good blend of, talent across the board, a lot of, 5-star talent, premium talent, NFL talent, if you want to call it that, but also, having some experience now, especially if they can get those guys back.
That Husky position, I've been high on this Edwards kid for the longest. I told people that position is really, really, really sort of a hybrid position. You got to be able to cover some, and you got to be able to come up and make the stop. A lot of DBs that we had are either really good tacklers, not really good coverers, especially in single coverage, or they're really good coverers and not really good tacklers. I think that Jairi kid, that Edwards kid will come up and knock your block off, just like Red would do, but I think he's a little better in coverage. That kid is very important to this defense, or kids like him with that skill set is very important to this defense. But I wanted to ask you quickly, Clint, I've been hearing a lot, man. My partner, Brad Jefferson, he go down there quite a bit. This kid, I keep hearing Jackson Lloyd, saying this kid is a pure tackle, great footwork. Kid understands how to use his hands. Kid don't get over his skis, don't bend and get beat, to the edge like that. Really got long arms. I'm hearing not big girthy guys, but more of your, I guess, lean athletic type tackles. Have you heard anything about this? I hadn't seen him play, obviously. Have you heard anything about this Jackson Lloyd kid they keep talking about?
Yeah, he's an athlete too. Yeah, he's one of the basketball background, and he's not one of those guys where he's one of those tubbies like me, where I'd be struggling to get up and down the court. When he was balling, he was getting, he was a great athlete.
Right.
And one of those guys that you knew from a size perspective. I thought he ended up being a lot bigger as a freshman than I was anticipating, north of 310 pounds. I mean, I think his high school senior season, I want to say he was playing somewhere in like the 285, 290 range. And I thought, man, if you can get him around 300 by the time he gets on campus and stuff, and kind of, you can already have him there, I think that would really help him. And then he showed up, and I don't remember exactly what his weight was, but I know it was north of 310. and I was really impressed by that. Apparently, he's a really hard worker, but he's one of those guys. You know, right now, if you don't end up getting Peak, I think you got a lot of opportunities to really have some guys to develop. I like Bryson Cooley as well. I think he's technically sound. I was watching him this morning, and I had just forgotten. And I think there's a reason that they were so set on when Brian Kelly was fired from LSU. They really took that opportunity to go after him and go after him hard, because they felt like not only in today, right now, what we're struggling with as far as the transfer portal is these really raw guys. You love the talent, and if you trust your coaching staff's ability to develop that talent, then you really feel like you could have something down the road. But the problem is you're really spending a couple of years developing these guys, and then they're hopping in the portal when somebody else is benefiting from it. So if you can get guys who can come in and contribute right now, that's really the sweet spot. And a guy like Jared Doty, I feel like that he is a little bit more raw. He is one of those guys where if you can work with him, he has as high of a ceiling as anybody on the roster, in my opinion. But I think that there's still some rawness to his game. Bryson Cooley, I think he's more technically sound, should be able to come in. I think he's probably more of a right tackle, but I think he's got the skill set where he could survive on the left side. So I think between him and between potentially like a Jimothy Lewis, Jackson Lloyd certainly is going to fall in that conversation. He would probably be the favorite. I think you got some opportunities to have, a quality tackle. And then if you add a guy like Peak into that mix, and now it's really, if you can end up getting any of those guys ready to play, and you also got Peak, now you can move Carroll inside, and you can really, I think he's got a lot of upside as a tackle. Don't get me wrong, but I think as a guard, I think he could be one of the absolute best. And so I think you can upgrade multiple positions by getting potentially Jacarius Peaks, which is why I think that's such an important target for Alabama. But this offensive line, it's got a lot of ability. What I'm looking at is it's no offense, because I actually think the Cam Dewberry really came on strong late. I liked the fact that, I like his game and stuff, but I think from a schematic fit standpoint, when they lost Tyler Booker, you lost a leader, you lost a first-round NFL talent. And so from that standpoint, you're like, man, that's unfortunate. They definitely just lost their best offensive lineman, but he wasn't the best fit schematically for what they want to do. So it's like, okay, well, he made it work way more than a lot of other 340-plus pound offensive linemen would. But it was like, okay, this is an opportunity to get guys who fit the scheme a little bit better. And then when they added Cam Dewberry, that was a little strange to me. Another 340-pound guy had some issues as far as the movement and the athleticism. But at the same time, once again, he made it work, not to the extent of Tyler Booker. But what I'm doing now is I'm looking at this group, and I'm saying pretty much across the board with the Olas Alinans, who I like as well, think he's going to do well at Kentucky. But with him entering the transfer portal and leaving, I'm looking at this group, the Rock Montgomerys. I'm looking at this and saying there's nobody really that doesn't fit schematically anymore. And so while there's still a lot of uncertainty, I think that can be beneficial if you get somebody in there, or at least maybe some of you already have in there, who can get the guys developed properly where you can get the most out of these guys.
I just want athletes, Clint. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I just that's just what I wanted. And I agree with you. Like, we got Cam Dewberry. I'm gonna make another Bills reference, but it's like getting two Osiris Torrance like players.
Right.
You're getting guys. Guys that can turn guys that can turn you to the inside, and you can run behind them all day. But they're not nasty, feisty guys. They failed. They get to the second level. They can't get to the second level and try to seal off those linebackers. You're not really that much confidence. So I wanted to get a lot more speed. And so, like, for this year, we had 3 or 4 guys that they're just not the athletes. They're not the athletes that fit the type of scheme that Washington with Scott Huff and Ryan Grubb and those guys kind of ran over there. So I agree with you completely. I like Jackson Lloyd coming out of Modern Day just because of the fact that I'm watching this kid getting 20, 30 yards down the field, taking on certain safeties and just watching his athletic ability shine. So no, I'm excited. I'm excited to see that again. Jacarius Peak would be, in my opinion, a bigger move than Cam Coleman. If I had to choose one, I'd choose Peak all day. Just because
1,000%.
With the offensive line, like you just said, you get to move Michael Curry to the inside. And one thing he did at IMG Academy was his ability to climb up to the second level after coming off the combo was nasty. It was just disgusting. And he's a nasty, feisty player that that can get a little bit violent. I think that this year just struggled a little bit. I think he struggled a little bit to kind of pick up the offense. I actually think he's a better guard, in my opinion, than I think he's a tackle, just because of that athleticism and that long ranginess that he has from a profile standpoint fits way better, in my opinion, at guard than I think at tackle. So now I think if you can get a Jacarius Peak out there with left tackle, and if we can figure out a way for that right tackle spot to get situated by getting another one of those athletic guys that can develop there, I think this offensive line is golden. I don't think we're too far behind. I think we finally now have the athletic traits. Now we just have to figure out a way to kind of develop these guys and form and just form the right continuity there. I'm putting all my chips on the table for Jacarius Peak. That's just my opinion.
I'm right there with you. Right there with you. I feel the same way. And it's really making me excited that I actually feel like it's a more realistic possibility today than I feel like it was yesterday. Even though I knew that they were trying, the fact that you're starting to lock in a visit and stuff, and you got to make sure that no one else, before he can get on campus, gets him wrapped up. But I mean, what I love about it is not only when I start getting excited about the offensive line and what it could potentially be as far as being an offensive line that fits what Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer want to do offensively, then I start thinking about, okay, and you got Hollywood Smothers, and you added a Xavier Crowell. Like you started adding guys who the running backs, yes, I think that a huge chunk of the problem with the offense was the offensive line, the inability to sustain blocks, the fact that you had to turn to some younger tight ends. It was a C and D gap problem on their front as well. Yes. But the running backs also didn't have the ability when things weren't there. They're not always going to be there. Sometimes you got to create on your own and make things happen. I didn't see that nearly enough. And granted, maybe a lot of that had to do with Daniel Hill. That's not really his game. He's going to be a guy that runs through you and over you and all those things. And Jam was banged up and not 100% for pretty much what felt like the entirety of the year. Maybe that's what kept him from being more of that player. But I just think right now I think AK Deer's got a little bit of that in him and would love to see him continue to develop. I think Daniel Hill is going to continue to factor in. And personally, with Hill, I mean, if you start getting a really deep group of running backs, I would love to make him some sort of Swiss Army knife. Now, granted, I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to want to play H-back and slam heads a lot with linebackers, but I think you can get creative in maybe some of the ways that you use him and use his receiving ability, because he is a much better receiver than you would think for a 245-pound running back. But then when you start looking into this group of running backs that they're, with AK Deer maybe making some development and some strides, I think Xavier Crowell is going to be one of those guys who might have a little bit of a learning curve, but I think he'll end up being a year one contributor. And what you just added in Hollywood Smothers, who is, a dynamic presence in the backfield that can create and add that element of explosiveness. I just think that really this run game can turn around fairly quickly.
That kid reminds me a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs with his first couple steps.
You said that
when he get in open space, man, it is over with. I like him because I played that position, and I'm real finicky about that position, man. I love the running backs, man. That when the crease is there, they attack it, right?
Right.
The patience, I get it, but when the crease is there, man, they don't tiptoe, they don't analyze it, they hit the crease. Jahmyr is like that. You give Jahmyr a cutback lane, man, you looking at the back of his jersey before you know it.
That's right.
And I think a lot of this year, I don't know if the running backs trusted the offensive line completely, because it's like these guys were anticipating contact as soon as they got the ball. You can see it. You can see the hesitation,
And 9 times out of 10, they were right.
They were right. Facts. Exactly. So it was and people don't understand. They try to blame it was just the whole thing. It was the entire thing, man. Mm-hmm. And the running game used to frustrate me so bad. I even seen some fans of Jackson, the school that Crowell come from. Mm-hmm. They was having their concerns on Twitter, like, oh my God.
I didn't know that. Thank goodness I didn't, because that would have worried me to death.
Yeah, man. And I get it. I get it, man. You see this, and the average fan, the casual fan, they like, man, I hope they and it was more they don't run the ball. Not that they can't, they just don't. So I'm looking so forward, man, to getting in and putting a stamp on this running game, man, and really, really getting back into some physical type play. I tell people all the time, man, this is sort of like my motto. And even if I'm wrong on this, I don't know. I'm trying to learn, how do you be physical in pass pro 90% of the time? Right. Is that like what physical strategies can you employ when you're in pass pro all the time? It's very tough. It's very tough.
It was kind of the same concept that I had early in the year, where how can you expect downhill physical linebacker play when you're mugging them up and then bailing them at the
And
snap of the football?
Exactly.
Right.
You know, so it's the same concept of what you're talking about. It's the identity of your football team. And that's where I think some of that falls on the coaching. Now, granted, I saw them get more comfortable doing it throughout the course of the year as far as the mugging the linebackers and stuff. But, you know, I still, and I understand the purpose of it as far as the way that it strains offenses. You know, more you put on the line of scrimmage, you're going to force running backs to stay in pass protection, even when you're not sending everybody. Like, I understand the benefits of it, but I feel like that when it comes to the run game, what was continuously baffling to me about it was you looked at the individual parts, and maybe it wouldn't be this dynamic elite run game. There's no way it should have looked as bad as it looked. Yeah. That is the craziest part. Well, I understand maybe the running back room, you know, a lot of those guys maybe miss evaluations, if you want to call it that. I mean, personally, I think that some of those guys are still better than given credit for, but like at the end of the day, you had Jam Miller, top 100 recruit. You had AK Deer, top 100 recruit. Kevin Riley, top 100. Daniel Hill, 4-star guy. Like, you had players, loads of players that you should have been able to get more when you talk about 5-star Caden Proctor and 4-star and the number 1 center in the transfer portal in Parker Brailsford. And you start going across the board. I mean, it was crazy just how bad it was. And that's one of the things, while it felt like there was 12 different issues that you could attribute it to. So there's not, if it was one player, you pull that player and now everything's better, or, you know, it was just, I mean, it was everybody. All it takes is one guy not getting his block, and it just felt like, okay, this is your turn, Kim. This is your play where you're not going to do what you're supposed to do, or you're going to get beat trying to do what you're supposed to do. Okay, now it's going to be your turn, Wilkin Formby. Now it's going to be your turn, Parker. And it was like every time. I don't understand that, but what I will say is that I think just having the athletes on the offensive line and guys, you know, you were talking about Will Sanders earlier, and when he gets his hands on you, you're done. He sustains blocks consistently, and that's one of the things that I think you're getting. And it's I think that the more athletic you are, the better you are at that. And so, I mean, you don't want to sacrifice too much. You don't want to get too good of an athlete and not have the physicality that you need. But I think that, having better athletes is going to fix a lot of the problems. But also, you know, what I love is, if you're Ryan Grubb, if you're Kalen DeBoer, you don't immediately make the priority in the transfer portal for you Hollywood Smothers a running back and then throw the football 40 times a game. You know what I'm saying? You don't go and do everything you can to make sure you hang on to a Xavier Crowell and then throw the football 40, 45 times a game. So to me, and maybe we're sitting here a year from now and I'm saying I was dead wrong on that. They absolutely did. But what I'm hoping is that there was a reason that there was an emphasis on getting better with the run game, but that also takes your coach committing to it. And that's so hopefully having this group is going to be beneficial on that front.
Key word right there, Coach Al. Commitment.
Clint, you just touched the button. You are what you rep. You are what you rep. You are what you rep. I'm gonna say it again. You are what you rep. And offensive line chemistry is repetition. And the guys know me. I don't like to use a lot of 4-letter superlatives and colorful metaphors. But you work the dog shit out of offensive linemen.
Yeah,
that's the only way you're gonna get out of them. You got to work the dog crap out of them, man.
Yeah,
you gotta ride their butts every day. You know, they should be the hardest working group on the team.
Yeah.
Period. I know, because I know you gotta get up out of here, Clint. I didn't want to ask you.
Real quick.
No, go ahead.
Trayshawn Brown.
Yes. Good player.
Yes. Trayshawn Brown.
Couldn't believe.
Trayshawn Brown is a heavier Kevin Riley.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Oh, now I got to go back and look again.
He has that suddenness. He does. A big base. He can catch the ball in the backfield. You know, he got short area quickness. He can make you miss in a hole, and then he can take it. When I looked at tape on him, Clint, me and Coach Sean was talking to that guy.
It's facts.
I'm like, Kevin Riley with about 15 more pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. If you imagine Kevin Riley with 15 more pounds, what he would have done this year.
Oh, yeah. He had the explosiveness. There was no doubt about it.
That's exactly what I'm saying, Clint.
Yes.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, I will say, when I found out that he was committing to Alabama and it kind of came out of left field, you think, okay, this is one of those filler, you know, you need probably another back, and now you're going from 85 to 105. So some of these guys, it's like really they're walk-ons, but they just now can be given a scholarship and stuff. I got to be honest, when I hear, you know, Trayshawn Brown and I hadn't seen him, I'm like, that's probably what this is. I was very, very surprised to see what I saw on tape. And granted, I was just getting into this industry and starting to pay, you know, I'd always watch film and stuff, but I was really starting to dive in. So I hadn't seen as much as I had seen now, but, so I wouldn't say that I watched Josh Jacobs, and saw, oh, wow, this guy's going to be a superstar. But I will say, like, I feel like this is probably what Nick Saban, I'm not saying he's going to be Josh Jacobs. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this guy that's been way overlooked, doesn't have a lot of big time offers and stuff. And then all of a sudden you turn the tape on, someone says, hey, you need to check this guy out. And you're like, wait a minute, how is this guy where he's at as far as recruiting rankings, offers? How has he gone unnoticed? You know, I definitely got that feeling watching Brown. I think he's got a lot of talent and ability.
So Clint, one thing, when I was watching him, I wasn't so much watching him. I was watching who he's playing against.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
He wasn't the best player on the field every time I looked at him. He was on the field with some dudes on the other side wearing opposite color jerseys. The level of competition is he was doing it against the level of competition. So if I'm looking at the guy putting the eval on him, who are you playing?
That's a great
Are you doing
point.
are you doing that to those guys? And every time I look at him, he was doing it to those guys. Okay.
I mean,
so,
we saw that with you know, I can remember, you know, Ben Davis at Gordo, smaller school, you know, Arch Manning, you know, Jet Tomla to an extent up there in Nebraska. Like, that's one thing. It's like, I think from a talent standpoint, part of me, when this whole Ty Simpson declared for the draft and stuff, I was sitting there thinking to myself, you know, okay, it's the Keelan Russell, Austin Mack battle. Let's get it going. I'm excited for that talking point in the offseason and seeing how that plays out. And then I started thinking, man, I don't know. Just Jet Tomlin and some of the things that I've seen from him.
Facts.
He's a dude. He can ball. But then I came back to, well, hold up. I mean, that you talking about going from the level of competition that he was playing in high school to the SEC and with the big boys. And so
he was doing some crazy stuff on film.
But he absolutely does. But that level of competition absolutely matters, and you got to pay attention to that. And the fact that he was going against the absolute best out there in Texas, I mean, that just tells you he might be a little bit more SEC ready than a lot of people think. So I think that, you know, that's a great point for sure.
I had a recruit, but I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna say that for another time, because I know you got other things to do, and it still ain't no telling who may show up in T-Town and who may commit, and I don't want to hold you up. But I know
I'll go ahead and tell you, I feel like just in this amount of time, more than likely about 14 things have happened. There's been commitment, there's been transfer portal. It's just how it is. We recorded.
I've been checking. It's like 10 dudes that just committed.
That would be. I'm gonna look down. I have about 16 missed messages from my boss, because he always likes to try to make sure I'm staying on top of it. But yeah, I mean, the other day I was getting ready to record an episode. And I did actually record it was the one that I recorded with Cotton. And I mean, we were talking about Hollywood Smothers and how it was trending, and some people were RPMing him to Alabama. And in the 45 minutes that we did a show, by the time we got off and I finally got it uploaded, he had already committed and I had totally missed it. So I was talking about him trending. And so it's like, as soon as that happened, I decided, until this is over, let's go live. Let's just, that way I can maybe check and we can react. But this whole idea of editing and then getting stuff out that becomes instantly obsolete, it feels like it's this has been I don't know about you guys, this has been a crazy few days. It's fun.
Definitely
it's fun. It's free agency on steroids.
Clint, there's so many good from an because me and Coach Sean, we talk about this almost every day. From an FCS level, there are so many good players that Alabama wanted to. I actually feel like they could go after that. Fits exactly what that fits their philosophy, their scheme. They went after about a couple of those. I know there's one corner that I think, or one nickel, really more of a nickel that they're going after as well, or at least they're planning on bringing in for a visit. So it's fun. Like it's so many kids. We haven't even got the Montana State and those other kids coming in. It's gonna be so fun.
That's what I was gonna. The tackle from Montana State. Someone the other day, and I hate that I don't know his name, but they asked me. They said, "Hey, have you checked this guy?" And I'm like, "Man, Montana State." But I was like, at this point, I'm watching everybody else, just checking them out, seeing what's going on. And I went and watched him. And granted, it's one of those where it's like, I mean, that's a big step. Once again, as far as competition, like looks fantastic on that level, though. And just from the movement and the fluidity in which he was, I mean, they got some dudes on that level. And granted, if I was, it's a little bit different. If you're Kentucky and you're searching for a starter, it's a little bit different than if you're Alabama and searching for a starter. It's a different caliber of player a little bit. But at the same time, I feel like some of those guys could. There would be an acclimation period, but I think they could. I definitely think they could contribute, and I think you might start seeing some of those guys in the second and third wave as they start getting they start trying to fill out the depth. I think you start getting some of those players, and there are going to be some diamonds in the rough amongst those players as well.
Yeah, Cedric Johnson. That was because I had a report on him kick slide. All I'm gonna say is that dude's kick slide is. I'm telling you, man, he's quick.
Yes,
so much depth, so much width, tackle. It's almost impossible for edge.
That center from Texas State.
Oh yeah.
That kid can play.
He's got an anchor, man.
Rocker Riker, I think is his name.
That kid can play,
man. But I tell you guys one thing that Coach Sean know I talk about this all the time. We got 0 out of our specialists this year. Not 0, but we couldn't return a kickoff. It was better for us to fair catch the ball than to try to return it if we caught it on the goal line, because we're going to have it on the 18-yard line. Okay. That's got to be fixed. How can you not get any production out of your punt return, your kickoff return game? Your punter was up and down. You can't play the field position game. We talk about portal activity. We talk about on steroids. But, man, at Alabama, we can't get that fixed. I got a problem fundamentally with that. I'm an old school coach, Clint. I'm an old school guy. I'm the OG on it. If we can't do all 3 phases, if we can't block, we can't tackle, we can't win.
I will say that is something that going into all I was focused on was offense, defense, mostly because I don't know how to evaluate specialists. I can't tell you what makes a great kicker. I mean, if he's got a leg and I watch him kick 65 yarders, I'm like, I'm guessing that guy's pretty good. But there's way more nuance to it, I'm sure. Same thing with punter. I don't know how to evaluate it, so I can't go out there and practice in those observational periods that we get and be like, oh, man, he's doing great. I don't know what's great and what's not. So I pretty much ignored it. Anytime someone would ask, I was like, I think they're in pretty good shape there. Like they didn't go get another kicker, so obviously they feel like, Connor Talty. And then the season – and I really like the way that his season ended. I really am. I think that he hit rock bottom.
But I'm talking about our organizational effectiveness on how we execute special teams. Not necessarily though. I'm not picking on the player. I'm talking about if we catch it on the goal line and we can't get it out to the 25-yard line.
Problem.
All year.
Problem.
Yeah.
Big. And that's exactly, that was my biggest complaint is every step of the way. Outside of the rematch against Oklahoma, I will say overall Alabama won that special teams battle. But every other game, in my opinion, Alabama lost the special teams award.
Georgia.
Yes. I mean, it was you're getting punts blocked. You're giving
Short
up
fields.
Returns, punt returns. You can't get any sort of kickoff return. You can't even get it out to the 25-yard line. Like you said, it's better to not even, return it. It's not covering kicks like you need to. And to me, when you see that, once again, I don't like, harping on coaches, or really don't like harping on players either. But at a certain point, when it's that universal in that phase, I've got a problem with the coaching. And so I don't know if it's a change. If you don't feel like a change needs to be made, that's fine, but you better get more impact out of that spot or those spots, because it's too, like, I know I ignored it all off season, but you as a coaching staff, y'all shouldn't have been ignoring it. It was to me, in a lot of ways, it cost them games from a momentum standpoint. Like, you start to give the other team momentum, and then you got, Latsier Brooks trying to return a kick, and he's getting tackled at the 15, and especially in a hostile environment. Now that's the number one. People don't realize when you get some sort of big play, you score a touchdown, then you kick it off. If you can go down there and make it a very emotional play and put them in bad field position, that's where things start to mount and spiral for one team.
Georgia.
And that was happening way too often for Alabama this season. So, I mean, I don't – you do what you feel like you need to do, but it needs to be fixed in 2026, or you're going to be catching it even more so from fans.
That's facts, man. Giving Georgia all those short fields, man, that was tough to watch, brother.
Clint, I'm gonna tell you right now, man, because I know we can get a lot out of you, man, but I know we ain't gonna get no coverage either. But I know, man, when all this is over, man, we gotta definitely get you back up here.
Yeah, man.
For a recap. Because trust me, y'all, I wish I could have him up here long, but he got stuff to do. And I'm just happy that he's up here as always, man. Appreciate you for always showing love, man, doing the things that you do. Man, God bless you and your family, man. Trust me, you get a lot of respect over here, man. We love
That's
you
a
over
whole
here.
fact.
I love you guys.
You, brother. So
always have fun with you guys, and so I appreciate y'all having me on. And absolutely, as soon as this transfer portal stuff is over, we'll hop on and we'll hash out everything. We'll see how long we'll see how long we can go.
Oh yeah, because I can't wait to hear, especially the things that you do know. That's about to happen.
Clint, appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Talk to y'all soon.
Yes, sir. Man, yeah, man. That is Clint Lamb, everybody, man. It's so much stuff. And I'm so glad that Coach Al brought up that special team thing. That's one thing I didn't even think about. That was one of the most important things.
That Georgia game was not as bad as it looked, man.
The returning has been bad the entire year.
The return game is up.
Facts, man. Facts.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that much speed back there, man. You never have a kickoff return that goes past the 35-yard line all year.
Yeah, man. That, like I said, man, the show's still about to go on, everybody. But as soon, hopefully, we can get him right after the transfer portal is over, so we can definitely talk more about this. But one thing I wanted to ask him the most, but thank God I didn't ask, because I know we pretty much gonna talk about it, and we're gonna talk about it our way. But shout out, I'm gonna say shout out to HaHa Clinton Dix. That's like I love HaHa, man. Close in age and everything. Alabama great and all that. Everybody's seen his comments by now, so they ain't gotta read his comments and all that. I think most of us agree with what he said. The problem I have with his comments, and just so I can just keep my eyes on it, just to remember some of the stuff in there when he was talking about production. Some of that stuff don't show up on the stats, on the stat sheet. A lot of that stuff don't show up on the stat sheet. And the thing that I had a problem with is just, I feel like what he said is right, but I still question, like, a lot of these guys, you kind of were high on you brung in. So it's an evaluation thing. Like, are y'all evaluating the guys? Are y'all coaching them up properly and all that? Because I trust the guys that y'all bring in with the Lottie Brooks and the London Simmons and all that. But I still question, like, it was just the way it felt like it came off like we were just talking down on the players. I don't feel like he was, but at the same time, I know somebody in the comments when he just said, just give me any player. And I was just
gave him one. I gave him one.
You gave him one. I'm gonna let you speak on that. That's why I was like, I gave him one. And I just said, I thought Keon Keeley was a guy that was coming along and all that, but I said he know way more football than I will ever know.
What happened with Damani Jackson? Why is a press band corner playing more off band coverage, and why can't he set the edge when he was doing that the year prior?
That's what I was gonna get into if he had tweeted me back, but he saw when I went to the all, when he tweeted that, give me a player, I said this tweet got 34,000 views. I said based off the tape, James Smith, and listen to the second part. What I said, as opposed to what we presently have on the roster. What that means is if you're comparing production, compare it to what the hell you got on that roster, right? You can't give me Yunze. Yunze is an edge player. Interior, James Smith had 25 tackles, 11 pressures, and 3 sacks. That's as good as any interior pressure, any interior guy that we have had on Bama's roster. He responded by saying something about y'all watching highlights. I hit him back with no, I don't know. Maybe they watching highlights. I watched all 22. And after I mentioned all 22, he didn't respond anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because I was going to get into it really deeply with it. If it's about production, I get it though, bro. Don't make a mistake. I get it. HaHa's a Bama guy. He worked for the company. You gotta temper. You gotta do what you're doing. I understand it. I actually agree with you. I said I respect it, right? But at the same time, I get it. James Smith did not have Bain or Mesidor production, right? James Smith don't play in a Bain or Mesidor style defense, but that's another subject. But let's not act like James Smith at several games wasn't the doggest dog you had out there. That's a lie, right? So I get it, what you're trying to do. I get it. And these fans, you tell them, you don't know shit. But I get it. So I didn't go against it. I respect it. I get it. You can't pay every player $1 billion. I understand that. I don't know what James asked for. I don't know why James left. I have no clue. Could be because of Quay, could be because of money, could be, I don't know. That's not the point. My whole point is just what B. Sharp said. I get you want to praise the players is there. You should. But don't get on this Twitter acting like James wasn't that guy. You know, and then to say, well, based off the production, if it's about production, let me keep it real. And you can put, I said this. If it's really about production, you got a wide receiver to make more than anybody on the damn team. And I'm going to stop right there. And, you know, if it's about production and you know, tell you a player, if it's about production, you got a wide receiver to make more than anybody on the team. And I'm going to stop right there.
And here's my question. Right, what happened with Cam Calhoun, who was an all Pac-12, was a first team all Pac-12 player, came to the University of Alabama, barely got any sort of repetition. I'm not going to, again, who knows? Maybe it could be work ethic, whatever the case of situation was. But compared to what Kyle Winningham was telling about Utah, the kid has the work ethic. He was one of the leaders of that defense. He just wanted to go and get a big opportunity. This was a type of player that they've been trying to recruit for years since they were at Washington. Maybe again, I wasn't on that staff then, but they've been trying to get that guy at for Washington for years. He comes to him a heavily pursued player. And all of a sudden, the type of, again, maybe we can blame SEC competition. I don't know. Maybe that could be the case. Maybe the big Pac-12 or the Big 12 back then was just that garbage. Whatever the case, whatever the situation was. But you're talking about a guy that was highly contributive, really, really good football player, playing the type of position that you want him to play, which is that Husky role. And all of a sudden he comes to this year and he just regresses. Was it injuries? Was it the scheme? Was it the coaching? What was the situation in terms of why he regressed? Because it just doesn't make any sense. Like you watched his film from a year ago compared to his film now. They're two completely different players. Like what happened there?
Yeah, man. Go ahead, my fault.
I would ask anybody on there that think they know football. I think it was go watch the Tennessee game and tell me who was the best defensive lineman in that game.
James Smith.
Go watch was it South Carolina or was it Oklahoma? I can't remember. You know, when you say James wasn't that good, give me somebody on the team interior that was more better. Give me one. I'll put it in the chat. I'll wait. So all I'm saying is, listen to what I'm saying. I agree with Ha. You can't pay every player what they want. I agree with him. We're on the same page on that. But what I don't like is don't get on Twitter and take a SHIT on them kids like they wasn't balling, like they wasn't because if it's about inconsistency, your whole damn team was inconsistent. Don't do that. Don't get on Twitter trying to, you know, I get it though, bro. You work for the company, you gotta rare the crowd. I get it, but the tape don't lie, fam. You know what I'm saying? Let's not act like these kids can't play. Don't do that, right? Don't act like they can't play. You know what I'm saying? Just say the production don't garner what they ask for. I can agree with you on that. If you're not Mesidor and got 10 sacks or 8 sacks, you can't ask for umpteen. I get that. I'm with you on that.
Oh, you just wanted an upgrade. That's fine to say. Right. We wanted a clear upgrade. Like I can understand you getting.
I can agree with that. Me too. Yes,
because Tompkins was a kid that they wanted. They've always wanted Devin Tompkins since he was at the previous staff since they were at Washington. Yeah. They decided to say, you know what, this is a highly productive kid. He's versatile, so he doesn't have to just play your 3 tech. He can play the bandit role if you want him to play the bandit role, which is that 5. He's a lot more versatile. He's a gap penetrator, and he's got, even though he's not really great at it, but he's got the capability to do gaps. So he can do 2 to 3 things, maybe a little bit more versatile than James Smith can. I can buy that. I can buy getting players that are more versatile towards your scheme. But 100%. For you, come on, man. Like these kids, like granted, you spend money, you bring kids over from different programs, they don't translate, they don't work out. Again, we talk about the Damani Jacksons, your Cam Coons, it is what it is. But James Smith was a kid that was highly touted, highly favored, 5-star kid. With him and Quay were both 5-star kids. They showed the potential the last 2 years that they were here, and all of a sudden they're just like, come on, man. Like think we're going overboard with that.
And that's what I'm saying, man. The only thing that I really had a major problem with, man, is like we talking about production. Okay, fine. Let's go with that. All those guys are out the way now. Now we bringing in all these guys. Now let's just assume we're going to get Peak. We got Wilson already on the team. I forgot our running back name. Just that quick Hollywood. Let's just say all these guys come in that we get. It's about production, right? What are those guys regress? Is it the player or is it the coaching? Now that's what I didn't want him to do, is put that target on his back. Because I know a lot of people bookmark that.
Yes, I did.
I know they bookmark that. And they're going to point out this, like, oh, I see James Smith at such and such. He got about 10 sacks, and it's still this game 10. Quay Russell doing these things. Like, I understand. Like, some of these guys were here when you were here. Like, you helped bring them in. So it's like the evaluation process on all this. I don't want to hear nothing if these guys go somewhere else. Because I remember we talked about this many, many times.
He did Justice Haynes like that. He can't play. He can't play.
This man was on his way to a All-American, first team All-American year at Michigan before he got hurt.
We gonna see.
And now all of a sudden, I remember when folks like, oh, he can't play. Like at some point, like you put a target on your back, whether you like it or not. And I don't want to see you go out like that. Because I respect you, brother. I respect everybody in that building. But you really put a target on their back. Now they're gonna really have to step it up production-wise. Because that running game look anything like it did this year, I'm gonna be like, oh, production.
Bransky, we haven't had that many rush yards since Truman was president. That's 1946. Like we're talking historically bad. Like we're not talking about any bad rushing yard. Less than 775 rush yards from your backs. Like you're talking about teams from 1945, like World War II started, and you had teams that had more rushing yards than the current team that you have now with more games. We played 2 or 3 more extra games. Back then, they're playing 7-8 games, averaging that many yards. We have 7, 8, or maybe 9 more extra games than those guys had, and we barely can meet the average for what they said. Like what? Come on, man.
Shout out to the Miller's Edge, though. Shout out to the Miller's Edge, man. Shout out to Christian, his daddy. Awesome job them guys do. Love listening to them guys, man. Shout out to those guys. Tap in with them guys too, man. Love listening to guys that know what they're talking about.
Absolutely.
Shout out to the Miller's Edge, bro. For real.
Yeah, hey, Jazz. Back then, they weren't enamored with the forward pass either.
You had to run the football.
It was like back then they were saying there's 3 things you go wrong with a forward pass, and 2 of them are bad. Okay, that was the attitude back then. Now it's forward pass. We're gonna pass every time we get, So I mean,
hey man, I understand you want to defend. Like, you really want to. Go ahead, Coach Sean. I just seen it.
What's that? No, I was just giving Christian and his pops a shout out, man. They got a really good show, man. They was in here and they got a really good show.
They do. They really do, man.
Yeah, man. And
Christian has a delivery, man.
What's up, man?
Wow.
Yeah. I walked away for a second. My bad.
What I'm saying, I love his delivery, man. He's a true professional doing what he's doing. He's honing his craft, which is a great thing, but he has a unique perspective in that he's played at the highest level.
That's facts.
And he's seen this thing so many different ways, man. I mean, and a guy like that to not come off condescending is rather refreshing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. No doubt, man. Christian, man. Christian, man. Your father. Great show. Everybody, please go tap in with the Miller's Edge, man. If you want that real, down-to-earth insight and where you can understand it to the casual fan. And Christian, Big Miller, all we saying is we don't disagree with Ha. You know how it is nowadays with this money. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes there. All I took issue with was you don't got to go so hard. I get it. They're gone. The production thing. If we being honest, it's a couple of players on that team who didn't live up to their production. I don't got to call names and beat up no kid. You know, like let's be honest. If it's really about production, that key word there, you know, we could go really deep with this thing, right? And yes, James was inconsistent up and down. But what I say is just, and I'm an offensive guy, I seen James flat, especially in the Tennessee game, man. James, to me, you know, really had a good game. I think it's Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, Tim did his thing, James. All I was saying was, if the kids got to leave and they choose to leave or whatever reason they leave, we don't got to go on Twitter and you know, do all that. You know what I mean? Because if the kid goes somewhere else and ball out of control, you know, we did it. We get it. Different schematics, different coaches. Yeah. But to the casual fan, it looks like a Justice Haynes thing. Justice can't. The fans was talking that stuff. He's slow. I even saw people calling him slow. So he'd go down to Michigan in that scheme and absolutely go off. Absolutely go off. So you got to be careful with that. Why not just say, okay, we got the kids we want. The kids that want to be here are here, right? Shout out to whoever left. Hope y'all have a great career. On to the next. You know, we don't have to keep going on Twitter and doing all this extra, because one thing about this game of football that we all play, we all love. Football ain't basketball, bro. You can't hide in football. No. You know, it's gonna show. It's gonna show, man. And we'll see. We'll see. I'm praying that the guys they got play the way they want, right? So, you know, big shout out to everybody who stayed. I'm all for it. This crazy NIL stuff is going on with this money, and so you're gonna see a lot more people come and go. But I thought it was interesting that Rico had hopped in the portal. The receiver that they was trying to get from NC State ended up committing to USC, and like an hour later, Rico went back to Alabama. So it is crazy right now, bro. So you know, big shout out to HaHa, and hope everything work out.
Let me say this: a lot of the discussion is around players right now and getting, you know, replenish your roster with the right so-called fit. When the portal closes, we're gonna see just how far the reassessment of the board's team goes. Y'all know where I'm coming from.
That's a fact.
We'll see just how far the reassessment goes, because if you're going to reassess your roster, and I understand how the salary cap goes by position, by all of this, that's, you know, you got to reassess everything, because it's not just the players. Okay. So let's just see, once the dust settles with the portal closes, let's see just how far the reassessment goes.
Yeah, man, because it's just interesting, man. I just don't
the
like
reassessment should happen.
Yeah.
We all know this, because if you're going to say production, the coin has two sides. The players and coaches. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a two-sided coin. I've never seen a one-sided coin that has any value. That's something you put in a token to play arcades or videos or whatever in the laundromat. Okay. But a coin has value because it has two sides. How could you value one side called the players and don't value the other side?
That's facts.
Equally.
Yeah, man.
Not throwing shade at the brotherhood of coaching, because we all in there. We understand that. We all been on the receiving end of not performing. Coach, I have.
I know I have.
Facts. So I ain't got no thin skin to say, hey, maybe I just couldn't cut it. Okay. But I wasn't ready at the time, maybe. Okay. Sometimes you need this as a coach to develop. You need to get sandpaper so you can step back and see, I didn't see it. That's called experience.
Okay. Let me get these real quick. Shout out to the OG J Townsend with the $2 super chat. He said, "What's up, brothers? Roll Tide." Appreciate everybody that contribute to this too, man. Just want to tell y'all thank you. Hopefully y'all new year going well. Hopefully everything good with your families and all that. So just happy to have everybody here. Tammy with the $2 super chat. Appreciate it. Said, "Love this content." Appreciate you. Hey, man, we try to keep it real over here, man. at all time. And
yep,
don't. It really don't matter who it is. We don't care. We treat everybody equal, even though we talking about it's still all love over here. You can agree to disagree. It's all love, and hopefully he doesn't take offense to this. I really hope he sees this too, or whatnot. Hopefully he'll come on the show and just explain that one day. I'm about to say it's all love. Doors always open.
But see, that's that right there. What you just said right there. That right there, to come in and address that, okay, that will show exactly who he is in terms of that. Because if you well, let's back up a bit. I don't know if he's been on anybody's show. Okay, so that would be a precedent. Okay, to do that, to have him come on. Okay, but for the guy to actually acknowledge that, this is dialogue. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Full stop. We all grown men. This guy played in the NFL. You don't think he'd heard a lot worse than this?
It's facts.
He played for Nick Saban and that staff. Don't you think he'd heard a lot worse than this? No, that guy, it ain't bothering him. It should.
I don't think it is at all. That's why I said, man. I said, hey, man, the doors is open. Hey, he probably be in here listening. Ain't no telling. And I'm like I said, man. Oh, I would love to have you on the show. I won't even tell you how great you are because you were that guy.
Yeah.
I just have a question.
This is
I just have a question on. I love what you said, but I still have a question on what you said. That's all. Like if we can't talk as grown men, then hey, I don't know what to tell you. But I believe he that type of guy to really talk about it.
And I understand it. I understand why he did it. I get it, man.
Mm-hmm.
I applaud that.
He's a part of that staff. He's a part of that staff. That's his job. That's his work that he's doing. So he's going to defend it. I completely
understand, man. Big up in the kids that's there. I get it, brother. I actually respect it. I don't agree with acting like, it's not a certain player. I just realize I don't feel like we got to go hard on the ones that left. They left. Shout out to y'all. Move on with the kids that's there.
Yeah. Shout out to Latoya for being a member for 6 months. Always been loyal. Always been great. Appreciate you always, Latoya. That was it.
Right.
Always appreciate you. She said, what about the coach's production? Putting players in position to be successful.
The coin has two sides. The coin has two sides. I'm going to say that. The coin has two sides.
It's a fact.
I mean, we can talk about this till we all blue in the face. We already brown in the face. But we really talk about if we go blue in the face. You can beat this horse to death, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Players got to play. Coaches got to coach. It's the 4 C's of success, folks. I'll say that again. Chemistry, collaboration, communication, and continuity. You got to have it. Okay? That's what makes a team successful. That means that the communication process is a 2-way street.
Yeah, man. Hey, I know I love this stuff, man. That's why I was like, I really wanted Clint to talk about it too, but I knew we was gonna go a little bit more there. Cause it's just like, I know we don't care in a lot of ways. We're not fanned out like most folks.
Nope.
Not. And if you see that, we're not talking about you. We have fans that are just fanned out, man. We got a lot of folks that are just fanned out. And guess what? Don't care. Cause if your feelings hurt, it'll be all right. Cause you can always feel this hurts feelings report out, man. It don't matter, man. I promise you. I'm telling you, I would look at you and laugh at you if for the fans that get fanned out. Cause I kept trying to tell them, man, about this. Like, bro, it's not the end of the world when a certain guy hits the portal, man. Guess what? Just wish him well. Hey, who the next guy?
Let me say this, man. Alabama is doing surprisingly well compared to a lot of most teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Texas has been.
I mean, but so I'm gonna tell you guys something. Yeah, have you guys gone to our lads, that site, and look at Alabama's depth chart? They've updated the depth chart on our lads. So who's left? Okay. So right now, you're looking at Bandit, it's Renard and Henry Tua, whatever. Okay. DT, 3 technique is Edric Hill, Isaiah Fogg, and Steve Mbamua. Caden Jones is at the weak linebacker. QB Reese is at the mic. Okay. Yeah, that's on the defense side of the ball. Xavier, you got Chuck McDonald bagging up Zay Brown. Yep. They got a depth chart updated. They got Jamarian Latham back. How accurate that is, I have no idea. That's just these guys projected, but they got it out there. They even have Jackson Lloyd started left tackle. Okay. Will Sanders at left guard. Mal Waldrop at center. Casey Poe at right guard. Mike Carroll at right tackle.
And I'm about to. I pray to God that this come up, man, because this was something that I know, especially all three of y'all being coaches, man, y'all gonna absolutely love, and I loved it, and I knew it was gonna be useful one day. I'm gotta take some time trying to upload our post. It was the only thing I needed to upload, and I didn't upload it, which is crazy. It's sent to my email right now. Don't worry, it's something to do with coaching. And a certain coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers said it, and I love it. And I feel like it's so important that we all hear this real quick. I'm trying to talk about something until I can get this up. Anything.
Well, who you like Thursday night?
That's Oregon and Indiana, right? That's
Thursday night.
Thursday night. Is that Oregon and Indiana?
Let me check.
I'm not sure who's up Thursday night, but
I think it's Oregon and Indiana.
If it's Oregon, Indiana, I'm taking Indiana. I'm taking Indiana. Just well coached. Great defensive line. Oregon's offensive line is really good. They're big, but I saw what Texas Tech was able to do. Granted, Texas Tech has a great offensive line. Dante Moore struggles under duress, man. Like you can give him under duress. He starts to kind of struggle a little bit. He missed a lot of open read. Now I will say this: their tight end Johnson is a big factor. Like that's kind of the difference between the first time they played and the second time they played. They're utilizing both their tight end sets, and they already got speed and verticality. Hence, another player that Bama fans crapped on that's now balling out, Malik Benson.
Benson.
Yep, that's another one of them that's now balling out with the carrying more. So that's the difference. There is that Oregon's starting to utilize both of their two tight end sets, and they're now starting to incorporate a lot more things that they didn't see the first time they played. But Indiana, they're just well too well coached, too well experienced. I think they're ready for this moment. And I think the crazy part is I don't even think they unleashed half their bag against us just because it was so easy for what they were able to kind of do to us. Just thanks to our offense, it is what it is there. So I got Indiana.
Alex said it's Miami and Ole Miss.
Miami and Ole Miss on Thursday, and then Friday I'm assuming would be Indiana.
Before y'all get those tapes, get those tapes, this is what I was talking about in reference. It'd be the last thing we talk about with HaHa.
I love to hear coaches resist the responsibility of coaching.
What'd you say, Coach? What'd you just say, Coach?
I love coaches that resist the responsibility of coaches, that talk negatively about a dude that can't learn and blah, blah. Man, if everybody could learn, we need less coaches.
Yeah, that's real.
Right? If the group didn't need management, then we wouldn't make as much.
Yep.
I love reading draft evals and somebody's talking about anything other than pedigree, talking about how poor somebody's hand usage is. Well, that's coaching. Right. I don't run away from coaching. I run to coaching.
Love it.
It all is in line with that not seeking comfort, because when you're a coach that's talking about somebody can't learn, you're seeking comfort. because your teaching is struggling.
Yep.
I
The
promise
coin
you.
has two sides. I'm gonna say it again.
Yo, I think you on
Sean,
mute.
you was on mute. Yeah.
Oh, my fault.
You
My
were.
fault. Read
You good now,
Christian
yeah.
in them. Read Christian in them comment. That's a good comment.
I don't even know what was going on.
Start with fair argument. Yeah.
Go ahead, because I was trying to.
Christian
upload.
says, fair argument, y'all make. Both things can be true. He is right that some guys aren't what some fans may perceive, but it's also fair to question the role coaches play in some of the shortcomings. And that's all I'm saying. That exact thing is all practically all of us are saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I get it. You know, I'm all for the rah-rah and on Twitter and everybody chiming in and all the fans. Because what they do now is you got all these people, half these folks don't know a touchdown from a first down. Like I told you, they can't tell you the difference in backpedaling and scooching, right? But they chiming in. Yeah, F him. We don't need him. I hate seeing that, bro. I hate seeing that. You wouldn't know a tennis ball from a softball if I put both of them in your face. But you won't cuss the kid out because he's not there. Now, I don't respect that stuff, bro. You know, especially for somebody that as decorated as Clint Dixon. But I understand. Like I put in a comment, I respect it, right? Because I understand. If I was in your shoes, I would have, you want the fans to be invigorated and not panic like they panicking, because fans are panicking, right? So I totally understand that.
Oh yeah,
we are on board with that. I just wouldn't have went so hard in the "we don't need you" section. You know, I just
parents see that, man. Like parents see that type of stuff.
Yeah, there's no need for it, bro.
Let me say this too. I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
So let's not go hard there.
Right.
Let's just pump the brakes on all of this, frankly. Let's move on.
Yeah, for real. Shout out to Christian and them, man.
Oh yeah, man, definitely, man.
Let me tell you this too. This guy is there every day.
Yeah.
He sees the good days, he sees the bad days, he sees the chemistry. The 4 C's of success. Chemistry is one of them.
You need.
But I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I said I was gonna put that on a T-shirt for real. The 4
Well,
C's.
it's a fact, man. Okay, it's born out of experience. So we've had enough of this.
Yeah, man. It's all.
I would say so much so that the gravity of our show can take this in a different direction and spin it to the right way, and we can do something else, folks.
That's it, man.
Yeah, man. That was like, man, it's dope, man. When you Clint said other people would be watching from afar to reach and all that. So you have somebody like Christian and all them over there at the Miller's Edge over there, man. That's what I said, man. It's really dope when you have people like that, especially when they love what you're talking about.
Hey, let's go here for a second. I got it on blur. Let me change this. Y'all
NFZ.
I'm trying to tell you.
Okay? I already know what it is.
You know what's coming.
And Christian, you definitely have an invite anytime, brother. If you want to come up anytime, I love to hear you.
So, if you can see that, if I'm in here, that's where we are.
Yeah. Show it now, Coach Al.
You can show it now.
I didn't show anything.
No, I couldn't really see it.
If you can see that,
there you go. NFZ.
That's called a negative free zone. That's the 6-inch space between your ears. So when that crap infiltrates you, man, you can't process properly. So this is the space here we're gonna process properly, correctly all the time. That's why the F is the biggest freaking thing on this logo, man. We freed up over here. Period. Full stop.
That's it.
There you go, man. You said it best, man. Just to really just end it. I know we're gonna do the predictions and anything. Any last words on Portal kids that I know it's some kids that I know everybody want out there. I think Jan said probably the best thing tonight. If it came down to Cam Coleman and Peak, the younger me would have said wide receiver. But I want Peak. I would take Peak over Cam Coleman. It sounds crazy, but it's not crazy. I think that's the best one. But any other guys that anybody y'all want them to go after and hope that we get, or is somebody they going after that you want?
I do. Go ahead. So there's a it won't happen, but there's a couple kids, and I shared it to Coach Sean, but there's a kid named Christian Elgero from Wisconsin. That, I would love to get True Mike. And again, we're down 3 linebackers, but he plays that Nikhil Green Hill sort of role. True Mike linebacker. Again, if you don't, kids. I'm sorry, not kids. If y'all don't know who he is, turn on the Wisconsin Bama tape. Just watch that game. Watch number 4. Watch him.
He's the best player on the team.
Best player on the team, and he was downhilling. He put Parker Billsford behind a couple of times. He was a real thumper, real thumper. But I think the thing that really impressed me a lot was his lateral ability, his lateral agility. He was pretty much the true leader of the team. He was making a lot of his certain calls. I liked his depth and coverage in certain spots, but honestly, just kind of east to west, old school sort of player. I think former safety turned linebacker. Very reminds me of another kid that's coming out of the draft. I think it's coming out in Jake Galladay. And so I don't know about Christian Elgero's situation, but I do think that regardless, I think we're trying to go for more physicality. We're trying to go for more thumpers. I think we're trying to go a little bit with more size at that linebacking spot. Again, they could be very comfortable with Caden Jones. They'd be very comfortable with Luke Metz. They could be very comfortable with the entire linebacker room as a whole by saying that we got the right guys in the right frame in order for us to do this. Okay. But overall wise, I would love to get a kid like that. And then there's another player as well. There's one more guy, Sammy, and I'm gonna mispronounce. I'm gonna kill his last name, but he's a linebacker from Oklahoma, Sammy Osamagil, who is fast, speed.
I remember you posted
linebacker. Really really good contributor for Oklahoma the last kind of couple of years. Again, if you haven't watched what this dude did, just turn on the Bama tape, watch him fly. Very, very fast linebacker. I think he fits this to a T. Again, solid in coverage, really good coverage depth. But for the most part, guys, you're just getting a very, very fast, kind of more east to west sort of linebacker. I think he'll be a pretty good fit under the Swarm defense.
You know something, Jans? I tell you, I love the way the game is changing now. Experience means everything. I'm on mute? No, okay. The experience means so much. Immediate impact, because Saban would bring in a JUCO guy with the expectation the guy was going to start. And most times they got it right about that guy, except for his latter years. But I also you talk about the linebacker room. 2 guys stick out to me, QB and Luke Metz.
Mm-hmm.
Luke Metz got the physical traits, man, of a guy that want to just tear your head off.
That's fast.
Because he was on specials all year. He was aggressive on specials. That's what Reuben Foster got his start, man. He was aggressive on specials, and Luke actually committed some penalties of aggression. That guy wants to tear your head off, man.
Love that.
But he won't get the experience if you keep plugging in guys that from the portal. How do you keep a guy like that and develop a guy? The only way you're going to get experience is get on the field. That's my thing with these, because Luke Metz, I'm telling you, man, if he stays at Alabama, the guy's gonna be stuck.
Right, and that's if he has the patience, because that's the thing about the portal. It's just so and again, I'm hard on Courtney Morgan, but I got to give him a little bit of him and his staff some credit. It's the fact that you have to, number one, you have to scout you have to reevaluate your roster. Then you have to sign your roster by making certain promises or whatever the case of situation is. You have to hope that those kids don't. So you have to recruit them again. Then you have to potentially resign these guys back, because that's now what you're starting to see is guys restructuring their deals, signing their deals. So now you have to do that. Then you have to evaluate high school recruiting for not just this class, but for future classes. Then you got to go out to the portal because you may actually, again, based off your evaluations, you may have to kick some guys out that you may have evaluated that you thought may do it, but just hasn't really, been a fit. So now you got to go to the portal and you got to fight 5, 6, 7, 8, a bunch of other dudes. Try to evaluate thousands of maybe you have your right evaluations of players, but if those players don't come, then you probably have to reevaluate other players back in the portal. That takes a longer process. That's why we had 2 portal cycles before, was because coaches were complaining that it's just hard. It's hard to because what if the guys that you scout, they don't want to come here? Now you have to probably reevaluate other players. Hopefully that can come out again. And we all know that, there's things behind the scenes that shouldn't be done that are being done right now that have been going on throughout the season. It's just difficult overall for this entire transfer portal and this whole thing. It's fun because every 2-3 minutes, it seems like someone's committing, and it's big time players. These ain't scrubs. These are former 4-star guys, 5-star players. 5-star players. Like, think about this for a second. The last 3 number 1 overall recruits, quarterbacks, are all in the portal. DJ Lagway, Dylan Raiola, and there's another name too that's in the portal. All of them. Bryce Underwood, again, he was signed with Michigan, but like you think Michigan, knowing that Trinidad Chambliss would have been a stud, you think they would have gave Bryce Underwood the money that he did? I mean, like it's crazy. Because now you got to, it's not just D1, it's D2, it's D3, and JUCO. You got to recruit all different levels and try to do your best to evaluate the talent and thinking now, do they fit your scheme and do they have the potential enough to become big time contributors? It's difficult, way harder in my opinion, I think, for scouting and evaluation than the NFL. I think it's way harder now.
Yeah.
Well, that does model after the NFL because
it does. Yeah,
you got it because I'm saying I'm going somewhere, James, because in the NFL you have player personnel department, right?
Right.
They got to mess with the coordinator level kind of guys. Say, hey, this is the way we want to play, and then the general manager got to say, well, I'm going to spend most money on my edge guy. I'm going to spend money on a cornerback. I'm going to spend most of the money on the quarterback. My left tackle, I'm going to pay him the most. So where do you allocate your fund? It's the same kind of structure. So you can't keep we had 5 Wolves this year.
Yeah.
And they were all dudes. Are you going to pay them all? Nope. So that's where we are, man. This thing is so fluid right now. That's the fun part about it. It's so fun, fluid. Yeah. And how the effective organization is going to be the effective teams. And I'm going to tell you what, in this environment, you're not going to sustain that excellence for 17 years like we just lived through.
Yeah.
So get over it. Get over that. Go take a Mario Cristobal red pill. We ain't going back to the U.
Teams are going to come and go. Right now, Texas
we're not going back. He said we're not going back. Why are we going to want to go back?
Shout out to the big homie and OG Rob Patriot Life for gifting 5 memberships out to whoever got them. I don't know who got them. I can't really tell on my part on this side. But if you got it, make sure you tell our good brother thank you and appreciate it. So definitely appreciate you, brother, for even doing that.
P. Fields, I like what you said, though. At least the NFL, you're dealing with grown men, not parents and kids. Yeah. Some of those grown men act like boys.
Parents, cousins. Now you got NIL managers and different agencies. You got other family.
That is real. Yeah.
I know, because I know we about to get up out of here in a minute. Just quickly, if you brothers want to give your predictions. So we have Miami Ole Miss tomorrow. And Bama Boy said Pete tomorrow. Hey, man, hopefully we get that, have a video ready for that, man. Hopefully we get Pete up in here. Thank you. And man, definitely appreciate you. Thank you, man. Just appreciate that, man. Thank you always. Good to see you, brother, man. Always big salute. But he said, these predictions on these games, man, just really quickly, we're just gonna go through both of them. Miami, Ole Miss. Coach Al, who you got and why?
I predict that Miami and Ole Miss will play a football game. That's my prediction.
Hey, that's a guarantee.
That's my prediction.
That's a great guarantee.
I mean, I'm gonna be 100% on that one. Man, I'm terrible at picking games. You know that. Yeah. Hey, look here. Let's get on the whiteboard, man. Let's do some X's and O's.
There we go.
Look here. Ole Miss is going to cause Miami some problems because Ole Miss can score.
Yeah.
Okay. And so can you get them in a place where you can get stops, critical stops, and you put some points on the board yourself, because they will score. They're gonna score. They are gonna score because they're gonna use the whole field. They got great chemistry. They have a quarterback who's not a statue. He's creative. They're gonna put him on the move. They're gonna do a lot of things. So Miami is gonna have their hands full adjusting to how my Ole Miss plays offense. I just believe that. I believe they can catch up to them. You okay? But can they score enough points if Ole Miss get out on them? That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't rule Ole Miss out. I don't think they have competitive depth to play with Miami up front with that running game. And Miami's not going to relent on that, frankly.
Oh, sure.
But I'm not. I can't.
For me, man, I was hoping, quite frankly, honestly, that Georgia won the football game because I wanted to see the line play of Georgia versus the line play of Miami.
I think
the style of offense that Miami run against the style of, that's more close to an NFL type game. I wanted to see that. I think I agree with Coach Al that Ole Miss is going to score with that type of RPO and those zones and those gap runs. But I don't know how. In a perfect world where everything is the way it's supposed to be, I just don't know if their interior is going to be able to block bang the whole time, because he could call with that offense. He could cause a lot of issues for that type of offense, man. I saw him against Georgia. I think Miami has better pass rushers than Georgia. I think Georgia's scheme is more user-friendly than Miami's. I think Miami's back end can be had. They're aggressive. They're very, very aggressive. I think that aggressive works to their favor sometimes, and I think sometimes it don't. To me, the fight is going to be between Miami's D-line and Ole Miss's offensive line. From, can they interior stop these guys when they're twisting and stunting and bringing these different pressures? Can they stop these guys? Because we all know if you get penetration on that type of offense, you screw the whole thing up. Now, here's the quick X factor, Trinidad Chambliss. He's the kind of quarterback when everything's going bad, he can make something good out of it, man. That kid showed me a lot against Georgia. He's one hell of a quarterback, man. Can he do it again? I mean, don't forget, Ole Miss has only lost one game all season, and that was to Georgia, where in a game that some may argue that they should have won. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a very, very tough game, man, for both parties. I don't think that Miami has seen an offense that can beat you and extend the full potential of the field like Miami, because they put so much pressure on Ohio State. I don't think Trinidad Chambliss is I don't want to use the afraid word. I don't think Trinidad Chambliss is as timid as Julian Sand was. I don't think Julian, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. I seen, you know what I'm saying? I hate to say potato chip, but potato chip. I mean, Julian was throwing passes and turning his damn shoulder. Like, they knew it too. If you watch the Skycast, Coach Alson,
they would call it out when they coach.
They would call it out. Yeah, he's scared. You can on the Skycast. Tell them, Coach Al, you can hear what the players are saying.
You can hear it. Yeah.
I don't think this quarterback is going to do that. Pete Golding has done a great job at putting these guys in place to be to win these football games. I think their offense is really, really clicking right now. These guys don't look like they missed a beat. To go out and beat Georgia and score on Georgia the way they did that's a big deal. So I think this is going to be a whole challenge for Miami's defense. I think Miami's back end can be had. They're very, very aggressive back there, and sometimes that work against you. So we're going to see. Trinidad will present a problem that Julian didn't. Now I don't think Ole Miss has a Jeremiah Smith over there, but maybe they won't need him. If I had to make a prediction, I don't know, to be completely honest. I hate picking games because it never goes the way you think. But Ole Miss is riding. They from the SEC, man. So I pick Ole Miss. You know what I mean? I hate giving scores. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta get one to say who's going to
Ole Miss. I'm going with Ole Miss to present some challenges that Miami hadn't seen. I watched Texas A&M defense. I watch Miami struggle in certain situations at Texas A&M. I'm going with Ole Miss.
Jance.
I'm gonna go with Miami to win, and I think you guys bring up a lot of great points. Trinidad Chambliss in that game, that was one of the greatest quarterback performances I've ever seen. Beautiful stats that he showed. It was because the type of plays that he was making, the off-platform plays he was making, but the type of NFL like caliber throws he was making was insane. It was better than all these quarterbacks. And yes, I'm going to say Mendoza. I'm going to say Mendoza. I'm going to say Moore. This guy made so many difficult throws. It was absolutely insane. It was absolutely crazy. The ball placement he really kind of put up, the touch, the velocity, the whole shots he was hitting. It was nice. Like, it was really, really nice. Now, Georgia, in my opinion, should have won this game. And the reason why I said that is because they just stopped running. They just did not run the football enough. They didn't run the football enough. That offensive line had a phenomenal performance. Monroe Freeling and Michael Morris and those guys, they had a phenomenal performance. They just didn't run the football. And Ole Miss, if we take a look at it from their from a DVOA standpoint and from an efficiency standpoint, they're one of the worst rushing defenses in the country. They're not a good rushing defense at all. And so Georgia, they went out of their own way. They pulled the top monkey, went out of their own way, stopped running the football behind that hot running back streak, decided to let Gunnar Stockton go out there and win the game. And granted, he had a really good game. But I think the identity, right now for what Miami has been the last couple of weeks has been simple. Carson Beck just managed the game, and we're just going to establish a ground game. It's going to be slow. It's going to be methodical. Our defense is going to go out there and try to create turnovers. Our defense is going to win us great field position and just go out there and win. Now, Miami hasn't scored more than 28 points in a game since the last game against Pittsburgh. So they're not Beck, Jay. Right. They're not Carson Beck, and this is why for me, I have not rated Carson Beck, is because they're asking him to play not as like an elite game manager. They're asking him just don't screw it up. Like, just don't screw it up. We don't want you throwing for 300 yards. Because when you throw for 300 yards, we know you're going to throw for 2 or 3 picks along the way. We're not willing
$4 million game manager.
Right. That's what he is. And so Miami, they're physical on both sides. Sorry, Carson. I'm sorry. No, you're right. I mean, he is. He's a $4 million game managing quarterback. Yeah. He just is. And so
I wish I was a $4 million game manager.
Under center. Yeah. I think Miami, they're just going to play a slow, methodical game. They're not, I don't think they're willing to play high pace, high scoring with Ole Miss, with Trinidad Chambliss. Because you can't do that. Trinidad Chambliss is going to get the ball out quickly. Yes, Ruben Band and Akeem Mesidor are monsters, but granted, Ole Miss has put up 30 points on everyone they played. And that includes Oklahoma and Georgia, which are top 10 defenses. So, granted, again, it's Ruben Bain, it's Akeem Mesidor, it's Adam Morton. Those are guys that can get pressure. Keontae Scott as a nickelback has been one of the best in the country. They got two confidence that they got 2 guys on the outside that are confident, and you got one dude monitoring that safety role, like Coach Sean was saying when he's saying they're scared. Guess who was saying that? That enforcer Jacoby Thomas. So they got somebody back there that's going to be willing to be physical, that's going to be willing to hit. But man, I'm going to choose the more physical team compared to the team that can score the most points. I'm going to go ahead and just choose Miami. I think they know that they can win this game if they rely on it. But granted, Ole Miss got some dudes up front like Xavier Harris and those guys that can go out there and limit the yards per carry. So, but I'm going to go ahead and just go with Miami. I shouldn't, because I don't trust Carson Beck, but I'll just go with the more physical team that I've watched all year.
I'm just say Miami, because I'm gonna try to keep this video under 2 hours. I'm gonna try to keep it under 2 hours. So Ruben Bain, I expect another big game out of him. I think he's the best defender in the country. I feel like he's about to, ever since the playoffs started, he is showing why he's going to be a top 3 pick in the draft.
Oh, despite the arm length, what everyone keeps saying?
He took it right out of my mouth. They're gonna find some way. They're gonna pick at him some kind of way. You know, they always do, man.
Yeah, but everybody for the last one, you ain't even gotta explain it. Just tell me who you got winning. Just
Indiana.
You got Indiana. Who you got, Coach Al?
I'm going with the Ducks.
I'm going with the Ducks too. And I think Jan said he already going with Indiana.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Definitely appreciate everybody that came in here. Definitely thank you all for always supporting the channel, even when we right and when we wrong. I'm about to say we hold each other accountable up here. We hold the coaching style. I'm not the coaching style. The coaches on the team accountable, which I hope they hold us accountable when we say the things about them and the players too. Everybody get held accountable around here. So it's all we can agree to disagree. nobody should be filling out no hurt feelings report because we disagree on something. But appreciate everybody. And special shout out to Clint Lamb, always showing love.
Facts.
Always giving us great insight, doing some of the best out there, man, of all these reporters out here. Justin Smith, Andrew Bone, these guys been cooking. So sometimes when you can tell your favorite reporter, if it's an Alabama reporter, just tell them, hey, man, you're doing a good job. You're doing a great job. They love to hear it. Trust me, it does a lot. So let these guys shout out their channels real quick. We got 5 minutes. So I'm gonna try to keep it on there. Let them shout out their channels real quick, and we gonna get up out of here. Coach Al, nice background.
Like that, yeah.
Negative free zone.
Yeah, thanks. Hey Bresky, thanks for having me. Hey gents, I have an excuse. I was late. I was on Lake White's going after the fish today, man, in Alabama. So, so I have an excuse. But hey, come and tap in with me sometimes over at the Negative Free Zone with Coach Al. Starting a little channel. Gonna be putting some things out there. You know, I'm starting to get in tune with this YouTube space a little bit. But I love coming on with my brothers, hanging out, talking ball, talking life, talking everything that's good. Not in an artificial way. This is real and authentic over here, man. You know, we're gonna keep it real 100%. But I'm on IG, al.sanders.10. I'm on X, alsand79. Hit me up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody that's in the chat. Okay.
Facts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, appreciate y'all for tapping in with us.
Shoot, James.
Yeah, you get me up on Gent Sports on YouTube. Also, if you want to hit me up personally, I'm on Jan716 on X. And then also, shout out to Duke Champions. I'm gonna be on there after this. So if you want, if you want to stop by, I don't know if you want to stop by. I know we're not a lot of Bills. There's some Bills fans I know that's that be watching these shows. So you know what I'm saying. But if you're a Bills fan or if you're a Jaguars fan, definitely make sure stop, check out Duke Champions. Got my guy me, and my guy Beyond, sometimes Whittle, and we'll simply go out there and talk about it. So. Yeah, check out Duke Champions. But yeah, Jan Sports on YouTube. We're going to talk a little bit more on the portal, give my thoughts, opinions about it. See some rants, particularly on the way, maybe, especially with my Bills. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Coach Sean.
Big shout out, man, to all the parents of the kids who left that we talked to. Prayers go out to you guys. We'll always be fans of your kids, and you know who you are.
100%.
Facts, man. Big shout out to my brothers up at Alabama A&M University. Shout out to Coach Sam Shade. Shout out to the brother AC Carter. Shout out to the big homie Ronald McKinnon. Shout out to them dudes, man. AAMU for life. #Creed. You already know what it is. And shout out to all the kids in the portal, man. If you in the portal and you a kid, just make sure that you got your ducks in a row, man. It's a lot of y'all out there in that portal, man. And sometimes that portal might not be as good to you as you think it's going to be good to you. Just make sure you know what you're doing, have a plan, and blessings to all y'all, man. You can definitely find me at JMHO Sports Talk. It's just my humble opinion. That's all it is. JMHO Sports Talk on Twitter and YouTube.
And like always, everybody, Bresky Shaw with the Sharpshooter Sports Talk. Appreciate everybody. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Please hit it. Try to get to the ultimate goal of 1 million subscribers, but it takes you guys to support the channel and grow it to where it can become. So thank you all, man. And definitely want to give a very, 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 very special shout out to all three of these men up here for their knowledge, always getting educated by them, always learning a lot from them. And it's just good to just sit back and just learn a lot of this stuff when you can go back and play it and just like, oh, I ain't never heard of that term before. Then you find out what that term is. Like, okay, I need to use this. So I learned a lot from them, and it's a blessing to even know them. So, man, definitely want to give these guys a special shout out because they help their channel get to where it is because they're a big part of it. And I'm glad to have them here and glad to have you all here. So
likewise, for sure. Big shout out to Clint too, man.
Big shout out to
Miller's Edge as well.
Oh yeah. And we'll catch y'all on the next one. Make sure hopefully the next time when we talk, we got Peak and Cam Coleman. But if we can't get Cam Coleman, let's just hope that we get Peak.
Oh, that's please. I'm please. That's almost
we're gonna see how it goes. So y'all, we'll catch y'all on the next one. Roll damn Tide and F Auburn.